Good morning and happy Monday. It's been a little bit of craziness here. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if you are facing the same weather situation as I am, but I can say it's definitely been crazy. We have had some ice and some snow, and we are stuck here at home, which is totally fine with me. It's nice and warm, and we're lucky we have our power. So, welcome in. Thank you for joining. I am here today to talk about travel agent world. I have a lot of people that have reached out and said, hey, is this a legit job? Can I really make money being a travel agent? So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back the curtains and talk about what it really means to be a travel agent. We're going to look at travel agent perks. We're going to look at how travel agents are paid. We're going to talk about working from anywhere, which is one of my favorite parts of this job. We will also go behind the scenes and talk about the behind the scenes access. And then we'll talk about how to turn this into real money, how you can get started. So welcome in. Thank you for joining. As we are getting going, I'm actually going to do exactly what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to press on the screen and send this out to all of your top 20 friends. The more people we get into this room, the more questions we get, the more engaging this becomes. So please send this out to have more people join us today. As I mentioned, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was raised in California, but been in Atlanta for almost 22 years. I would love it if you could. So let me know, where are you joining me from? I love knowing where people that are joining are coming in from. Thank you for joining my fan club. So any of you that are on TikTok know how crazy it's been. For me, I've got the winter weather and the storms and the ice, which is insane. But in addition to that, TikTok is going through a lot right now. So I am just excited to be live, have not been able to post. If you are not following me, please click on the red button up there, follow me. I post at least twice a day. I put some great videos out with travel tips and just a lot of information around travel. So excited to have you all here. Thank you for all of the engagement. That is super helpful. As I said, I'm going to be talking all about travel agent world. So I have people that will say to me, why do travel agents still matter? Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate you. Travel agents definitely matter, because when you think about it, we don't just book your trips like that. That is a huge part of what we do. We understand what kind of travel you're looking for, put together great itineraries that fit your budget, your requirements, and what you're looking for. But here's the key. We fix problems. We help you get access into parks like Disney and Universal and all those parks out there. Thank you for the hearts. I so appreciate you. And as you're joining, please just put in the chat, where are you joining me from today? And are you getting stuck in this winter weather? Love to hear from you. All right, so access to parks. We also advocate for our clients. We advocate for perks for our clients. And the biggest thing, I think, is we handle all the chaos so you don't have to handle it. And I've got some great stories that I'm going to share with you today. But the one I want to start off with, when we talk about fixing problems and handling your chaos for you, I was in Puerto Rico. I spent New Year's there. And I was one of the unfortunate that got stuck there. So as you might recall, we had the Venezuela issue, and FAA closed down Puerto Rico airport as well as many of the Caribbean airports. So I love it. Someone is finishing cleaning their car. I love that. Yes, being a travel agent is fantastic because you can work your own hours. You get to be your own boss. We are definitely going to talk about that today. But here I am in Puerto Rico. Let's go back to that story, right? And I'm supposed to leave on a Saturday flight. We're getting picked up at 2:00 for a late evening flight. I realized overnight that I get an email from the airline saying our flight is delayed an hour. Well, ours not really that big of a deal. We did have a connector, so I was a little bit concerned, but I thought as long as it doesn't get delayed anymore. I'm an early bird. I'm up early. I go work out. I go down to the lobby and I ask them if I can get a late checkout. And at this point, I've gotten to know all the managers. I've gotten to know everyone there because as a travel agent, I get a lot of perks for being a travel agent when I travel. So I like to know the ins and outs of everywhere I go. One of the reasons why I went to Puerto Rico is because so many people have been asking me about it. Now, I went once many, many years ago before I was a travel agent. So the goal this time was to do some great excursions, to understand the different places you can stay within Puerto Rico, and really get to know the ins and outs of the resort I was at. So I go down and I talk to the girl up front, and she says to me in a very sweet smile, "I'm sorry, honey, I don't think you're getting out today." I'm like, wait, what? So she's the first one that educated me on the fact that all the airports were closed and I was not going to get out. Thank you for joining. If you're joining, tell me where you're coming in from. Tell me if this winter weather is impacting you. Love to hear from you. So here I am in Puerto Rico, stuck, have no idea when I'm going to get out. Luckily, because I'm a travel agent, I knew the manager. She gave me a great deal on keeping the resort and the room that I was in. Now, somebody came in after I was done talking to her, and she told that person that your room's actually already given out, but come back later, and if those people aren't able to get in and don't check in, then we'll give you the room. I was very fortunate because I built that relationship. At least I had a place to stay. So that was big. Now, being a travel agent, I was able to get us out much quicker and much faster than a lot of other people. So when I first called the airline, they said to me, "Oh, it's Saturday. The earliest we can get you out is the following Saturday." So what does that mean? I've paid for 5 nights at a resort on vacation, learning about Puerto Rico, which has been fantastic. But now I've got to find 7 more days of budget for this resort. That is not what I was expecting. Well, I spent the next 2 days calling around. Being a travel agent, you're able to get access. You have a travel agent phone number that you can call. There's a lot of different ways we do this. But instead of going home the following Saturday, we actually went home that Monday. So again, I would love for you to think about this scenario. If you were stuck in Puerto Rico, would you like to have figured out this chaos on your own? So put in the chat, me. Or would you like somebody else to do it? Put in the chat, someone else. Because I'm a travel agent, I knew the ins and outs and got me out much quicker. If I had a travel agent or wasn't in this business, they would handle the chaos just the way I handled it. They can get you in and out faster. They can get you better deals. I was very thankful that I've been doing this for 8 months. And I love doing what I do, but when we talk about the value of a travel agent and is this still a job and do people still need a travel agent, 100% they do. And that's just one example. We're going to go through a lot of examples that will show you how you can make money as a travel agent and also show you how easy it can be. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There's a lot of consistency. There is a lot of hard work. I don't think anything comes free in this world. But if you come to me and say, "Hey, Jody, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Please press on the screen and send it out to your top 20 friends." The more people we get in, the more questions we get, and the more fun this becomes. So thank you for joining. Let me know where you're joining from if you're just coming in. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I've got this wonderful winter weather that I'm dealing with, and my internet's out right now, so I'm using my hotspot. Bear with me if there are any glitches on this. But Puerto Rico, I think, is a great example, and I love being a travel agent because I get to help people, right? That is one of the things I love doing. So give you a little history about myself. I was in software sales with Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies for 25 years. 25 years. My last position was with Zoom, and I was with them for 5 years. When I took that role, I said to my family, this is my last corporate job. I loved what I did, but it was exhausting. I would sometimes get up at 3 in the morning. I would be leaving at 4 to get to Hartsfield Airport to get on that first flight to New York. I would get to New York, go to the client site, do workshops or strategy calls, figure out how I'm going to save them millions of dollars for the year. I would wine and dine them. I would hop on the last flight, get to Hartsfield, and take an Uber home. They're very long days. And at some point you get a little bit burnt out, right? Financially, fantastic. Loved my clients, loved learning about, the brands and what they do and really rolling up my sleeves and working with them and being a partner. Loved it. But I took that last position. I said, I think this is it. I don't think I can do these long hours anymore. I think we're going to run our course here. And so when I left Zoom, I had no idea what I was going to do. And some of you may be in the same boat, right? This is a great job for stay-home moms, for people that are just looking for a side hustle, or for people that hate their job, or maybe they're just a little overworked and they need a switch, right? So I left and I didn't know what I was going to do. And they always say, if you find your passion and find a way to make money doing your passion, that's going to be the perfect fit. Well, I thought about my passions. I love going to concerts. I don't think anyone's going to pay me for that. I love hiking. I could take people on hikes, but probably not going to really make money on that. I love to read. I'm an avid reader. Love it. I don't think anyone's going to pay me for reading. But the other thing I love doing is traveling. I have been to all of the continents except for one. If you are joining, please, thank you first of all for joining. Put in the chat where you're joining from. Make sure you're following me because I put a lot of tips on my page daily. And then press the screen and send this out to your top 20 friends. Just do all the right things because the more engaging this becomes, the more fun it becomes. So let's get more people in. But I was thinking, how am I going to make a living out of this? I've been to all the continents except for one. If you want to guess what that one is, put it in the chat. It's kind of an easier one to guess. I've been to well over 45 countries. And I absolutely love to travel. So I went to a webinar, which is what I want to invite all of you that are interested in learning more about this. I want to invite you into this. This is a free workshop. It was about 45 minutes long, and you learn the ins and outs of everything about being a travel agent and how this all works. But then you get Q&A, which I hope you guys are putting questions in the chat because I'm going to try to answer everything. But Q&A, you get to ask all the questions. If something didn't make sense, if you're still not sure, you ask all those questions. So I went through this workshop and I thought, this is kind of a no-brainer. I get to plan vacations for people. I get amazing deals for myself. And again, remember, I love to travel. So I get these crazy great perks and deals, everything from free cruises to heavily discounted resorts. We're going to talk about that. That's one of the perks. Thank you for the hearts. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining. Come on in. Put your questions in the chat. We are talking about the travel agent world and how you can make money doing what I do today. So I go to this free workshop, which I want to invite all of you to. It's invite only, but it teaches you the ins and outs of being a travel agent. And I thought, wow, this is pretty fantastic. I've been doing this for 8 months. About almost 8 months. The end of this month is 8 months. I have booked myself 4 trips for the price of what I normally would pay for 1.5 trips. So, I mean, when I talk about the perks you get as a travel agent, absolutely insane. But if you're not a traveler or maybe you don't have the funds right now, being a travel agent, you can start making commission on booking other people's trips. So these trips, even the small ones add up. Let me tell you about my first client. My first client, I booked 3 weeks into this job, 3 weeks. Now, when I first decided I'm going to do this, I did take a little bit of time to get myself up and running, get certified, which we're going to talk about, get registered with all the suppliers, which we're going to talk about, and have a logo and just kind of put my business together. This is my business. I work under a host agency. This host agency has been in business for over 70 years. So a lot of times people say, well, is it legit? I don't think this host agency would be in business for over 70 years if they weren't legit, right? So 100% legit. They give more commission than anyone else I found out there. They have a higher percentage, partially because they've had relationships with all these suppliers, travel suppliers, for 70 years. And so that relationship, we're selling more for the suppliers, which means as an organization, we're getting higher commission. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. I love answering questions. So, and if you're just coming in, a hello in the chat is wonderful. Engagement is super important for me in this room and for you because it becomes more interesting and exciting as you guys are chatting with me. All right, so travel agent world, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the perks, right? So obviously, if you're joining, you're going to want to make money. So that's a big thing, and we're going to talk about how you make money. But travel agent perks, it could be everything from cruises to Disney and different parks to resorts, all-inclusives. Like there are just so many perks we get. I'm going to talk a little about Princess Cruises. Okay, this is just one example. I booked a Princess cruise. I had never been on a cruise with Princess. I've been on several cruises. I always thought I was a land vacation person, not a cruise lover. Put in the chat, are you a cruise lover or a land vacation type? Just put in the chat. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. So I've been on a handful of cruises. I felt like it was really great for certain reasons, but I love being on land. I want to immerse myself in the country I'm in. I want to meet the people. I want to go to the local spots. That's how I vacation, right? So I go on this cruise. And it was an Alaska cruise because Alaska was on my bucket list. And I am a big fan of checking off my bucket list and adding on. We're going to talk about some things I'm adding on. But I go on this cruise. As a travel agent, I did not know I was going to get all this. I was upgraded. I went to the captain's ball. I got this captain's lounge every afternoon. I got tea time in my stateroom daily. I got priority seating for dining. I got laundry service. The list goes on. It was amazing. I love saying I got treated like a princess on this Princess cruise. You know, what they do when you go on a cruise or to the resort, wherever you're going, they want you to feel that VIP treatment. So you get treated like so well. And the reason why is the more I learn about this cruise ship, the more I can tell my clients about different parts of the cruise ship and things that I think are valuable for them to add on to their stateroom. So one of the things that I learned was the laundry service. I've never paid for laundry. I just go home with a suitcase full of dirty clothes. Let me know. Have you gone home with a suitcase of dirty clothes, or do you go home with a suitcase full of clean clothes? I always went home with dirty clothes, just did the laundry when I got home. Well, because this was a free perk from me being a travel agent on Princess Cruises, I now am going to tell my clients, especially if they have little kids, do you want wet, dirty, dusty clothing in your suitcase? Or do you want to pay for one laundry service and just get that all done? So these are the things that you get as a travel agent. And the best part is, not only did I get treated like a princess, I actually got commission on that cruise for myself, and I got a crazy cheap deal. And that is why I booked it, because it's so hard to pass up these amazing deals, right? So travel perks as an agent, I mean, to me, it's a wow factor. The other aspect is every time I'm doing research, like the Princess Cruise, like Puerto Rico, it is a write-off. And I'm going to talk about tax write-offs a couple times throughout this session. I want to make it very clear. I'm not a tax accountant. I am not giving tax advice. I'm just telling you what I do, right? I would strongly suggest you do already a tax accountant, but I get to write off that Puerto Rico trip, the flight, the resort, all of it. The excursions, I did not talk about the excursions. We will talk about those. I went there to experience it so I can then tell my clients firsthand what I have learned and what I know. Princess, I'd never been on Princess Cruise. I went on the Princess Cruise so I could learn the ins and outs of that cruise ship, the excursions, the foods, the, different programs that they offer. And the more you cruise, what kind of perks you get. Like learning all of that makes it so much easier for me to sell Princess and to tell people about it. The other thing about the Alaska cruise is Princess actually has some of the park rangers come onto the cruise ship and spend the afternoon talking as you're going through the glaciers and you're seeing this. So you really get immersed in to Alaska. You really get to know a lot about it. You get educated and get to see this beautiful view. And it's all off of a cruise ship. And when you get cold, you just go to your stateroom, warm up. And of course I had a balcony, so I could just bundle up, sit on the balcony, and then I could go back out. And it was fantastic. So that is one thing. Hopefully you're learning perks. I would love for you to tell me in the chat, have you learned something new? We have talked about some of the perks we get. We have talked about some of the price discounts, some of the VIP services. We have talked about tax write-offs, and we're gonna really dig into these topics further. But I just wanna get your attention, get you excited, and have you thinking of questions that you can put in the chat. Thank you for joining. We're getting some new folks joining. If you have just joined, please follow me, click the red button, because every day I put at least 2 videos out there around being a travel agent and traveling. So please do that. Also, press on the screen and send me out to your top 20 friends. The more people we get into this room, the more questions we get, and the more exciting it becomes. So please do everything you're supposed to do when you join a live. All right, what else can we talk about? I wanted to know if you are a cruise lover or a land vacationer, because like I was saying, I always thought I was more land. But after I went on that Princess cruise, and I actually have booked a Norwegian one. So I'm going on a Caribbean 7-night Norwegian cruise in the end of April. And I booked this because I have been on a Norwegian years ago, but I have booked 5 staterooms on Norwegian cruises, and I really want to go experience it myself, right? So I've done all the training. And the thing with the training, and we're going to definitely dig into that, is you get training from these suppliers. So I went through the Princess cruise training. I've gone through Norwegian. I've been through Virgin. I go through all this training. And when you're done training, you are much more educated that you can make sure that you're selling the right thing to your clients when they're ready for a cruise. But B, you get perks. Free cruise, heavily discounted cruise, all the extra perks that I talked about when I went on Princess. Like, it is fascinating what you get as a travel agent. So keep all of this in mind. Disney, this always gets everyone's attention, right? So I'm not going to specify Disney, Universal, or any of the other parks, but people love going to Disney. So we'll talk a little bit about Disney. As an agent, I have early booking access. I have special pricing awareness. I get dining strategies that I work with my clients on. I get park planning. I give them support on that. So there is a ton, and thank you for sending this out and inviting others. I really appreciate it. There are so many perks. So let me tell you, I've got a customer who I put on a Alaska cruise on Norwegian. They went in September, and he is turning 50 in May. So him, his wife, and his 2 children are going to go celebrate his 50th at Disney. Well, what I do for my clients is I put together a spreadsheet with all of the clients and what they're looking for throughout the year. And I'm going to give you examples of how this works and how you make money doing this. So I have Disney listed for him. I have the month that they want to go. As a travel agent, I hear about all of the special pricing that there is, and I get to learn about anything new that's coming out ahead of time. So as I see that and I keep an eye out for that, I let my client know, hey, here's some really exciting things going on. Or, hey, this resort is doing this little special. And we all know that it's hard to get deals on Disney, right? Because there is never a time of the year that's off season for Disney. But as a travel agent, I learn about all of these special prices and the perks and the access and everything. So it makes it so much easier for me to put together a package for my customer and make money while I'm doing it and save them money and time while I'm doing it. Questions? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Any questions, put it in the chat, or if you could just put in there where you're joining from, city, state, or country. I've had people around the world join me, which is really exciting. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm in Atlanta. I am dealing with this winter weather, but I see the sun coming out, so the ice might melt, which means we may be able to get on the road sometime. But as of today, it's my second day just being at home. My Wi-Fi, well, my internet has gone out, so I'm using my hotspot. Let me know, are you dealing with winter weather? Is it warm where you're at? Is it cold? And where are you? All right, so perks as a travel agent, the special, like knowing about specials and all of that is huge. Working from anywhere. Oh my goodness, I love this part of my job. So right now I'm dealing with a winter weather and I don't have to worry about going into an office. I'm in my home office and I get to work. I'm using my hotspot. Everything just runs smoothly. I'm still working on my clients' travel and we're still making business happen. So working from anywhere, whether it is a coffee shop, an airport, hotels, couches, wherever you are, as long as you have internet and a laptop or a phone. You need one of those. Obviously, you've got to have one of those. But I just love this lifestyle of freedom. I'm actually going to be in Portugal in about 2.5 weeks. I'm going for 7 days. Again, a crazy cheap deal I found. It is through one of our suppliers, and it is a tour. And I haven't done a tour since I was maybe in my early 20s, but I wanted to experience it because as I have clients that have, a low budget, but want to visit a place and want to see as much as they can, tours can be a fantastic way to do it. So I'm going to go on this tour, have a tax write-off, get a fantastic deal, hopefully get treated like VIP, but come back with a lot of intel, right? But the reason why I'm talking about Portugal is I'm going to be there. There's a 5-hour time difference. And so it's fantastic because early mornings, I can wake up early, work, make sure I'm connected with my clients, do the research for them, get them booked. And then I also in the evenings when we're done touring around and seeing this beautiful country, I can go back to my hotel room or, little office space at the hotel and work. So I get to work from anywhere. My job does not end because I'm traveling somewhere. And the best part is, think about this. Did I have to ask anyone if I can take this 7 days off and work from Portugal? No. I just found this great deal. It fit in my schedule. I said I'm going, and I'm going. And that is so wonderful. How many of you have had to ask your boss for time off and been worried that they might not give it to you and you may not be able to go on your trip? This is a real problem for people. And I think we work so hard that you have to work hard, but you should be able to take time off when you want. Tell me in the chat, do you want to be your own boss or do you like working for someone? I have to take a sip of water because I talk a lot. So that's another perk. You work from anywhere. You're your own boss. You don't ask anyone for any time off. And even if you're vacationing somewhere or at the beach, you can work from the beach as long as you've got signal, right? So that makes it really fun. Welcome in. Thank you for joining. Ernie the Travel Dad. Appreciate you coming in. Do all the right things that I tell everyone. Put in the chat where you're coming in from. Follow me. Just tap on that red button. Every day I post great videos on tips and tricks for traveling and how wonderful it is being a travel agent. So do all the right things, send this out, press on the screen, get it out there. So we're talking about all the perks of being a travel agent today. One of the things I absolutely love is the in-person training. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of in-person trainings I have done. Keep in mind, this is all free. And my mileage going to these locations is a tax write-off. I get wined, I get dined, I get educated, I network. It is so much fun. So the first one I went to was at the Ritz in Atlanta. Who does not want to go to the Ritz in Atlanta? It was the African Showcase. It was a full day exhibit and it was so fantastic. I got wined and dined. I went in, again, all free for travel agents. They gave me a table number. I sat at a table. There must have been, I would say, over 40 vendors there. These are everything from excursions, safaris, resorts, airlines, everybody you can imagine was there. And this was North Africa and South Africa. So all of these vendors are there. And what they did is they went from table to table and they educated us for like 5 minutes. And then we got their business card. So if I have a customer that wants to go to Africa, and I've got a couple that are interested, including myself, I'm going to tell you more about my experience in a minute. But I have contacts that live in South Africa, North Africa. I have so much information that I learned. I got wined and dined, I networked, I got educated, and they must have given away, oh gosh, I'd say like 35, 40 prizes. So when you go to one of these events as a travel agent, you put your business card in a bucket. They shuffle it up at the very end after you're fed and you've educated, they pull names. And all of these suppliers that were there give away prizes. So 5 nights at a 5-star resort, 5-day safari excursion, flights getting to South Africa, excursions in South Africa. I mean, crazy things that you get. Now, I did not win anything, but the girl next to me did. She got 5 nights at a 5-star resort. She's just got to pay for her flight out there. So really exciting perk, right? It was so much fun. So I'm going to take a minute. I'm talking about all the perks of being a travel agent. I'm going to tell you where my passion for travel started. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've been to every continent except for one. Put in the chat what continent you think I have not been to. Kind of easier one to guess. Anyways, been to probably over 45 countries. And my daughter's 18. She's been to 5 continents, over 30 countries. Super important to not think where you live is a bubble. We learn a lot about culture, food, lifestyles, different ways of living, just all of that, right? And when you're living in your little bubble, you sometimes don't realize that there is a whole world out there and you can learn so much. I will say my daughter adapts so well, and she's so appreciative of what we have because we have a good life. And now I'm a travel agent. I'm making extra cash and taking her on more vacations. But my first time I became really passionate was when I went to Kenya and Tanzania. So I was in my early 20s. I worked for Microsoft again. I was in the software sales world for 25 years until last February. I worked for all the Fortune 500s, Fortune 100s. So I'm in my early 20s working for Microsoft, living the life, living California, originally from California, living in Atlanta now. Thank you for joining, Kenny. I appreciate you. Come on in, ask questions. This is all about being a travel agent and how fun it is and the money you can make doing this. So my sister and her husband and her 2 little girls that I am super close to, they were going to Africa. They were going to Kenya and Tanzania. And she said to me, hey, do you want to join? Here's how much it costs. It's going to be really fun. And I thought, okay, great experience. Let me go. Oh my gosh, I have so many stories from that trip. But I remember we did safaris. We went to villages. I'm very much about culture, food, activities. So I like to see it all. But we go to the first village we went to, and there's these tiny, dusty little huts. And you go in one, and literally they're sleeping on the dust on a newspaper. There is no air mattress, no bed mattress. There's not even a sleeping bag. They're sleeping on newspaper, on the dust. There are kids running around just laughing and giggling and jumping around. And I went and saw their schoolhouse. Their schoolhouse is a tiny little building, dusty ground, maybe 3 tables, chairs and tables, and 1 chalkboard. This is where all the kids from the village learn. They just share that, right? And originally I was looking at it thinking, oh my gosh, they have nothing. Like, we are so lucky. I work at this crazy, amazing company. I'm making really good money. I live in California, best place ever. I've got the beach, I got the mountains, just thinking how lucky I am and having gratitude, which is part of traveling. But before I left that village, guess what? I looked at them and I said, they have so much more than I do. They were so happy with what I thought was nothing, but they just were joyous and they could just find happiness in anything. And sometimes we lose that, right? So as a travel agent, I get to share that passion with people that want to go see the world and don't have the funds or don't know where to start, or have a budget to stay in, or have 3 countries and don't know which one to go to. I help with all of that. I help with all the planning. But I came home from Africa and I thought, oh my goodness, I loved my trip. I learned so much. It opened my eyes and I said, this is what I'm doing from now on. So I traveled a lot. I made good money, software sales, traveled the world, and now I'm done with that world and I am a travel agent. So I can still travel the world, still make money, and help others. So it's really fun. But that African showcase I went to at the Ritz in Atlanta, again, all free, did not win one of the prizes, but I plan to next time. I actually added a country onto my bucket list. I added Uganda. So I didn't know anything about Uganda. Again, there's at least 40 suppliers there, right? Vendors. And they come to your table. And there was probably 2 or 3 that were talking about Uganda. I was so amazed with everything you can see there. And I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to become commercialized. So I really want to go in the next 5 years. But it is on my bucket list, and I bet you I'm going to find an amazing deal, and I'm going to be putting together packages for people, making commission and paying for my Uganda trip. All right, welcome in. Thank you for coming. If you're just joining, please put something in the chat. Just let me know where you're joining me from. Click on the follow if you haven't already. I post twice a day, and I put lots of tips on traveling, being a travel agent. Today, I am pulling back the curtains on being a travel agent. I am talking about all of the perks and how easy it is to make extra money on the side and eventually make this your real income. So in-person training, talked about the Africa exhibit. The other in-person I went to was at Top Golf. Again, who doesn't want to go to Top Golf free, right? Wined and dined. They had lunch, they had beer, they had wine, they had sodas. They had vendors there talking about Aruba and all of the beautiful islands. And I learned a lot about which clients I should send where, and I don't specifically work on honeymoon weddings, but it is something I can do. And so being educated on this part of the world was really great, because now I know, depending on someone's budget and what kind of vacation they want, where I'd send them. But again, they gave away maybe 15 prizes. It was a much smaller room at Top Golf. It wasn't like the Ritz where it's a massive ballroom. But they gave away all these perks and excursions and nights free in Aruba and all the different islands. And it's so much fun. So I've met a lot of other travel agents. I'm never alone in this business because I'm always getting educated by my suppliers, by the industry. But let me talk a little bit about how easy it is to get started being a travel agent. So first of all, I would love to invite you to come to a free 45-minute workshop. In that workshop, we walk you through everything you'd want to know. And then there's a Q&A at the end. So one of the things I didn't know before I became a travel agent is all suppliers, cruise ships, resorts, everybody sets aside a portion of that cost for travel agents. So when you get a travel agent, you're not paying anything extra. I'm not charging my clients. In fact, I'm finding them better deals, and they're not paying anything extra for having me take care of their chaos and all the issues they may have and putting together the best itinerary. So you come to this workshop, the trainer will go to Expedia. Put in the chat, have you ever used Expedia or Disney or any online portal to book a trip? Yes or no? Love to hear from you. I am pretty sure most of you have. And if you have, using the travel agent portals is exactly the same. So it's super easy, because a lot of people ask me, is it hard to like do the research and find the packages? No, if you've used any of those, this is going to be super easy to do. Welcome. Thank you, Jolly Molly's Travel. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. I appreciate the support and I appreciate the engagement. All right, so you go to this, they get on the Expedia, the trainer on this free workshop, and they pick a random location, random dates, and they put together a package. So you can see how much it costs. So if you were to go into Expedia, you'd see what the cost is. Then they go to Expedia Tap. So travel agents have a separate portal that is for just travel agents. So Expedia Tap is a travel agency portal for Expedia. She'll go in, or he will go in there, take the exact same dates that were picked early on Expedia, the exact same resort, put it together, and you will then see the difference that a travel agent will find through the portal that they use versus what you will find when you're looking at Expedia. So they'll teach you how to do that. But what is really exciting is that when you come on board, you have mentorship, right? So this was big for me. I was super excited about this, but very nervous. I have traveled the world, as I mentioned, been to all continents except for one, traveled to over 45 countries. It is my favorite thing to do in the world. If you have questions about a country, put it in the chat. I may be able to answer it. I may have already been there, but I didn't know how to get started on something like this, right? So I actually would be your mentor, which means when you have questions, when you have needs, you come to me. I can schedule time with you weekly, even daily at the beginning. Just make sure you're comfortable, you know what you're doing. I would provide you with a step-by-step blueprint. This actually tells you exactly how to get up and running. So the first thing you have to do is get a travel agency certification. Archer is my host agency that I work under. They've been in business over 70 years. A lot of people ask, are they legit? How does this all work? Well, if they weren't, I don't think they'd be in business for over 70 years and have the relationship with over 150 partners, right? So very important to understand. We've got a very solid backing, but you have a 60-minute course that you go through to get your travel agent certification. And that's the first thing I'll send to you. Once you get that and you send me your certification, I then send you the next step, which is getting registered with these suppliers like Expedia Tap, like Princess, like Disney. And how do you get into their portals as a travel agent? How do you register? So every step of the way, I'm sending you just a step at a time, because a lot of people that start this are stay-home moms. They need the flexibility, right? If your kiddo is sick or home to like today with the winter weather, many of the kids are home. My daughter, who's 18, she's home from high school, but you need flexibility. A lot of times when they're young, they're getting sick a lot, picking up all those wonderful things at the preschool, and you need to have flexibility. So you may need to go at your own pace, and that is totally fine, because being a travel agent, there is no quota, there are no caps, and you're your own boss. So if you need to go slow, I send you a step-by-step, right? Your mentorship would be me, but not just me. We have chats with groups of folks. We have small groups, larger groups, cruise groups, Disney groups, all kinds of groups. So I obviously work as a travel agent. I'm doing lives. I'm on the phone with clients. I'm on the phone with my mentees. So you may have a question I can't get. Thank you for joining, everyone. If you can follow me, if you haven't, press on the screen, send it out to your top 20. And good morning. Anything you can put in the chat. I appreciate your support. Come on in. Ask me questions. I've traveled to every continent but one, over 45 countries. I make money today helping other people travel, and I get crazy amazing deals on perks. So questions, put them in the chat. All right, so I would bring you into chat groups. So when you're getting up and running, you get the step-by-step directions, you get a mentor, and you also get these chat groups. there are live training sessions. So when I got started, I would join these Q&A sessions and I would say to the trainer, I've got a client, they want to go to Italy for set. Thank you for joining my fan club. I appreciate you. I would let the trainer know this is what my client's looking for. And guess what? That trainer would go from portal to portal, pick the right ones for what my client needs. They would actually do the searches, so I'd watch them. They would find the package and the deal for my customer, and I would go and give it to my customer and put together a quote. But as I watch them do this, I'm learning, right? But this is how easy it is. You have so much support if you just tap and ask for it, right? Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. It's a lot of work. It takes time. It takes consistency. You have to have a thick skin when you're not, closing a deal. But I promise you, if you do all the right things and follow the steps that have been tried and have actually been successful, you cannot fail at this. You've got every tool you need. So you've got the live sessions, you've got video training. So maybe you need to, at midnight is a time that you've got when everyone's asleep and you're done cooking and cleaning, doing everything. Before you go to bed, you've got an hour. Well, guess what? At midnight, you can go to those training sessions that are recorded and you can learn all about anything that you have a question around. The other part is the supplier training. So as I mentioned, you get free cruises, you get discounted cruises, you get free night stays at resorts, you get discounted, stays, Sandals, Princess, all of the big names that you can imagine for just going through their courses. So all of these suppliers have training portals for the travel agents, and they have courses you go through to get certified. So when my customer wants to go on a Norwegian cruise, not only am I going to go in April, so I'm going to have my own firsthand experience, but I've been through all the training. I can tell you how the different ships work and what the different meals are and what the different perks are. So you go through all of this training. You are literally never alone. And with a lot of these suppliers, they actually have direct lines for travel agents, especially the cruise ships. So when I book my customers, if I have questions that I'm not sure what the answer is, I just call them up and they will go through it with me. So I don't know how to tell you, it is easy as long as you're consistent and put in the work. Wouldn't you love to be able to get running with something on the side? Again, stay-home moms, people that maybe are working part-time. Oh my gosh, I've had so many people tell me they run up their credit cards during the holidays. That's such a common problem. You need to pay off your bills? Join me. Maybe you just hate your job or you're not appreciated. This is a great way to get started and make this into a real full-time income. Again, I went from software sales, 25 years, working for all the big Fortune 500, 100 companies. I left Zoom after 5 years and said, I need a shift. I'm exhausted. My days are so long. I love saving these companies millions of dollars every year, but I need something different. I love to travel. I have so many stories. If you join one of my sessions around travel tips, I will share a lot of my stories with you. But this one's about making money and how you can make money and the perks you'll get. So really a great way to get started is doing it on the side. All the resources are there. I love talking about and helping people grow. I've done it my entire work career. To me, I have a passion around just seeing people develop. So I would be a mentor and we would get going. We would hit the ground as quick as you need or as slow as you need. No quota, no caps. You're your own boss, right? All right. As far as commission goes, there's so many ways to make money. And we're going to be together for about another half hour. So put your questions in chat. If all of this sounds exciting and you want to join a free workshop, let me know. DM me. I will send you the information. Commission. You can make commission immediately, or you can make it once your client has paid their full package, or you might make it after they return from their trip. There's different ways to make commission. And every deal package that you put together, it's going to bring you something, whether it's small or large. So one of my first clients, it was a very small, 3 people going to Florida. It was the client, her boyfriend, and her daughter. They were going to go to Florida, do a beach vacation just for a long weekend. It was like 3 nights. Very small package. I got them something in their budget, kept their daughter in mind, found some really fun things for them to do. They came back so happy. But you know what? Not only do I have a return customer, but she has given me 3 more vacations that she wants planned. I actually just booked her one in March. So all of these smaller packages that I'm closing, I'm making money on, and they're not taking me very long at all to get planned out for her. So I've got 4 things for her that I'm planning. I had a customer go on a cruise. I mentioned Alaska cruise on Norwegian. He came back very happy, gave me his feedback on everything. And he wants to go to Disney for his 50th birthday in May. So I have a spreadsheet. All of my clients, it's super important for me that they come back happy, because when they come back happy, first of all, they're going to refer people to me. And second of all, they're going to be my repeat customers. So whether it is a small deal, you're making money. And the small ones sometimes just don't take as long to plan. So it's definitely worth it. Come on in, welcome in. And thank you for those that are sending this out. I so appreciate you. Press on the screen, send it out to your top 20 folks, and follow me if you haven't. All right, so I am working on a 21-day Italy trip. That's a bigger one, right? I'm also working on an India trip for someone. It is a 2-month trip. Now, it's interesting because we make more money on certain things and not as much money on other things. And so you will learn through your training where you can bring value to your customers and where you can make money. So doing these trips, whether they're small or they're big, they all add up. It is a lot of fun. And for your customer, you are saving them not only money, but you're saving them a ton of time. If you have ever planned a trip for yourself or for others, put yes or no in the chat. If you have planned a vacation, put yes. If you have not, put no. Now, those of you who are putting yes, I have to drink my tea. Sorry, I'm talking for a long time. Need to take a second to breathe. For those of you saying yes, you can probably relate to how long it takes planning the perfect trip. So as you're a travel agent, and as you become a travel agent, the first thing I suggest is I do not take a client on unless I get at least a 15-minute call with them. I need to make sure that this is worth my time. I also need to understand what are the must-haves, do not wants, what's their budget, what type of vacation. Are they looking for a lay in the sun at the beach? Are they looking for something really active, cultural food? Like, what is it that they want, right? So I can make sure I put the right thing together. Budget, making sure I'm staying in that budget. So I need that quick call with them. But if you have planned a trip before and you put yes in the chat, you know how much time it takes to research just what part of the country or the city you're going to stay in, right? And then it's a matter of, is it an Airbnb, like a rental house? Is it a resort? Is it all inclusive? Is it just a hotel room because you're not really staying there? Like, what kind of space should you rent out? So there's a lot of work that goes into this. And that's what we as travel agents handle. And we make money off of handling it. And we have all the support from the suppliers to get this done really quickly. So keep that in mind, right? Commission, again, you can make it on cruises, on Disney, on all parks, resorts, all-inclusive Europe trips, Asia trips, Africa trips, family trips, honeymoons, weddings, even just little long weekend getaways, right? So there is just so many places. Now, one of the things I did is I put together a niche. Like, it's very important to really decide what are you going to hone in on, because traveling is such a vast thing, right? There are so many different ways to travel, so many different places to travel. It's important to kind of decide what are you going to do. Some people are cruisers only. They just focus on cruise ships. Some people do Disney or parks, and that's all. They know the ins and outs. And as a travel agent, you learn about the special deals ahead of the time. You learn about new events or resorts that are coming up. You get to then tell your customers about it. So really important. Some people, weddings, honeymoons, some do family. I mean, there's all types of travel. For me personally, I do cultural food activity, right? I immerse myself. Again, been to all the continents but one, been to 45 countries. I want to go to a country and feel like I live there. I want to go to the market and see the food. I want to do food tours. I want to do walking tours. I want to meet the locals and eat where the locals do and really understand their culture, their religion, how they live their life. Like, that's what I love doing. Doesn't mean everyone else loves it, but I am really focused on that, right? That's what I do really well. And I've got some great tips for my customers. And I won't share all of them on this because I really want to hone in on the perks you get as a travel agent, the way you make money, and how easy this can be. And I want to invite you, if you are interested and you think this is something you want to do, I want to invite you to a free workshop. So that's what this 90 minutes is really all about. And that's what we're going to focus on. So, again, lots of ways to make commission. You want to pick your niche so you kind of focus in an area. Believe me, I do a lot of cruises though, but I think you learn a lot about the food and the culture on a cruise ship. I didn't realize that a lot of times they will bring food from wherever the port is that they stop, and they'll bring that in, or they'll bring in experts from that, specific city or port, and they'll come in and they'll educate you. They'll bring jewelry and clothes, and you really get educated. Even on a cruise ship, on wherever you're going. And so that to me is another way to learn about culture and food and have activities and excursions, right? This job is not for anyone who is not going to be consistent. Now, when I say consistent, there is no quotas, no caps, and you're your own boss. So you can do 2 hours a day, you can work a couple hours a week, you can do it however you want. I am going to give you step-by-step instructions. It's a blueprint. I'm going to give you one step at a time. You're going to complete it. You're going to come back to me. I will be a mentor. I will then give you the next step. We will work together, but you have to have some consistency. You have to be willing to put in some effort, right? You can't do this. Nothing comes free. Nothing comes to you without putting in some work. But because you get to be your own boss and work your own hours, you can be a stay-home mom. Maybe your babies are napping and you've got a little bit of time where you're thinking, how can I make a little extra cash? Start putting money away from my babies as they get older. Maybe your child is starting to go to preschool and you've got a few hours in the morning that you can do something and you're just not sure where to get started. Maybe you've just retired, but you're not really ready to retire. Couples do this. A lot of couples do this together because it's a great way to find great deals so you can go vacation and see more of the world together, but you make money together. So maybe you both have full-time jobs, but this is like a side hustle that you've got, and you start saving little money to pay off a bill or to take that vacation you want, right? It is so fantastic for travelers. I love to travel. I, again, have, in the 8 months I've been doing this, I've booked 4 vacations for myself, all for the price of 1.5 vacations. And I've gotten VIP treatment. I have gotten so many perks because I'm a travel agent. All of these resorts and cruise ships want you to get VIP treatment. So you understand their ship and their resort and their city. So you then can tell others about it and you then can sell it. So believe me, it is a lot of fun. But travelers, this is great. You make money to go travel and you travel 4 times more than you normally would. Side income, maybe you just want to sneak in a little bit of extra cash. So whatever you want to buy in the future, you don't have to worry about it. People often feel very tired and stuck in their jobs. If you're tired and stuck and feeling undervalued, great way to start doing something new that eventually can become a full-time job. Eventually it becomes full-time income. Welcome in. If you're coming in, press on the screen and send this out to your top 20 friends. Click on the red button and follow me because daily when TT's not down and having issues, I post videos and they're all on travel tips and being a travel agent. So do all the right things in the room. Put something in the chat, even if it's just hello, what city, what state you're coming in from, anything. The more you engage with me, the more fun the room becomes. So please do all that. I talked a little bit about tax write-offs. This is super mind-blowing. So remember, I'm not a tax accountant and I am not giving you tax advice. I am telling you what I do as a travel agent, right? You definitely should research it and get advice from your tax accountant. I went to St. Lucia. That was the first trip I planned as a travel agent. Got an amazing deal on the sandals as a travel agent. I get some crazy perks when I go through training. Every supplier is different, so I'm not going to talk specifically on who gives what, but crazy deal. I wanted to go to St. Lucia. I wanted to go to sandals. I wanted to experience the ins and outs of the sandals. They offer so much. I saw the wedding coordinator. I saw the photographer. I did some crazy excursions. Oh my gosh. If you have ever been to St. Lucia, you know about the pitons. I climbed a piton. I think it was the most amazing thing. I would not recommend it for someone that is not active, but it's something I took back. I did a cooking class. I did a food tour, and I'd been to St. Lucia once before, many, many years ago. That's a tax write-off. My flight there, the sandals, my excursions. I booked the Princess Cruise, Alaska Princess Cruise, write-off. I wanted to experience Princess cruise ships inside now. I went through their training course, got massive perk. I'm not going to say what they give, but cruise lines give, in general, free cruises, heavily discounted cruises. I mean, just crazy. So that is a tax write-off, all of that trip, right? I have a Norwegian cruise that I'm going to the end of April, tax write-off, because I have sent people on a Norwegian cruise. I want to experience it so that I can give them the pros and cons. So me, as a travel agent, our job is to make sure our clients are well informed before they go. They know what to expect, good or bad. They are ready. I send every client an email a week before they go, reminding them, these are all the things you need to take with you. These are the things you need to know. These are the links you should have. I also send them a message when they get back. What worked, what didn't, reviews I need, any advice you have, all of that. I want to make sure that they had a great trip. Now, as a travel agent, I have people ask me, is this still a thing? Why would people need to have travel agents when you've got ChatGPT and you've got Google? Well, let me tell you, when you are getting on a flight and you have forgotten to book transfer from the hotel to the resort, and not everyone speaks English where you're going, and your travel agent had reminded you a week in advance, hey, you still haven't, if you haven't booked this, get it done. You're at the airport and you're like, oh my goodness, I have not booked this. What do? You call me, because what do? I get that booked. So by the time you land, you've got a text message and an email saying, this person's going to be standing at the baggage claim with your name. So those are the things we do as travel agents. I had a client on the Norwegian Alaska cruise. He gets to a port, cannot find his ticket for an excursion. They send me a quick text. I pull it up. I send it to them. Those are the things that we do to make it very smooth for our customers, right? But my Norwegian cruise, going back to tax write-offs, the flight the night before in New Orleans, and that cruise is going to be a tax write-off. My Portugal trip in 2.5 weeks, going to Portugal, going to work from Portugal. I'm my own boss. Did not ask anyone if I can take time off. I'm going to go to Portugal. That is going to be a tax write-off. I wanted to experience a tour, a bus tour. I haven't done one since my early 20s. Want to know the pros and cons, and then want to know what type of clients I would want to put on a bus tour. So and Portugal is such a hot spot. So I wanted to really experience it in and out. Thank you for joining, Ria. I appreciate you. Put in the chat a hello. Any questions you have about being a travel agent, all of you coming in, click on the red button. Make sure you follow me. Press hard on the screen and send it out to your top 20 friends. The more you engage with me, the more fun this room becomes. And we've got a good, I'd say 15, 20 minutes still together. So questions, put it in the chat. I love to answer your questions. So back to the tax write-off. People are mind blown that love to travel when they find out they could be a travel agent and do tax write-offs and find these crazy free or heavily discounted deals. So those are just some of the things that are really exciting. I want to go back to talking about in-person training. So I had mentioned that as a travel agent, I work under Archer. That's my host agency. They've been in business for over 70 years. So all of those relationships they have created with the suppliers, I get to benefit. I get amazing commission rates. I'd say top in the industry because they've been in business for so long and they've built such great partnerships with these suppliers. So I get all the support, I get a reputable name, and I get the best commission rate. I also would be your mentor. So when you join, you come to my free workshop, 45 minutes long. We show you how to work as a travel agent. We pull up Expedia, put in the chat, have you ever used Expedia, Disney, any of those online portals to book a trip? Yes or no? All of you that are gonna say yes, this job is super easy because this trainer will get onto Expedia, pick a random date, a random resort, put together a package and show you the cost. They will then go onto Expedia Tap. Now, Expedia Tap is a travel portal. It is for just travel agencies, and it is Expedia for travel agencies. So she will, or he will get on that Expedia Tap. They will pull up the exact same package that they did on Expedia, and they will show you the cost savings. So you will see live what kind of savings for Disney or packages or all of this fun stuff. What can you save your clients? How much money can you save them? And the biggest thing, if you're interested in being a travel agent, you're interested in making money. She or he will show you how much commission you're going to make on that deal. That's where it becomes really fun, right? Now, once you say, yes, this is so exciting. How can I not be a travel agent? I would be your mentor. So we can meet weekly, however much you want. Again, you're your own boss. If you're a stay-home mom and you can only work a couple hours a day or even a couple hours a week, you do it on your own timeline, right? No quotas, no caps. You're your own boss. I'm a resource. I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions. Number one, people say, do I need a travel agency certification? You sure do. That's the first thing you're going to do. So once you sign up, I would send you the information. Once you're certified, you would send it to me and I send you the next step. I would show you how to register with all of these suppliers. How do you start getting in these portals and finding these deals and doing the research? I will send you that. In addition to me, I would then have you join chat groups with other travel agents under Archer. So I'm not the only end all be all, right? If you have a question and I'm talking to a client, I'm doing a TikTok live, whatever it is, you've got people that you can actually chat with, ask them the questions. In addition to that, so as you can see, we give you a lot of training. You are absolutely never alone. But in addition to that, we have live training sessions. So when I first became a travel agent, there is a lot to learn. And again, I will not sugarcoat this. This takes a bit to get up and running. You need to be consistent and you have to work hard. Nothing comes free in this world. But I promise you, if you put in the work and you're consistent, you will make money. I made my first commission check 3 weeks into this business. 3 weeks. It wasn't a lot. It was a couple $100. But to some people, a couple $100 is a lot of money. It can pay a bill, it can pay for their internet, their phone, which you're gonna do it as tax write-offs once you become a travel agent. Anyways, live training sessions. So all about how to book flights or sessions on booking cruises, sessions, just Q&A sessions. So when I first became a travel agent, I would join these live sessions when I had a client that had, asked for a certain package or a certain vacation. And I would get on the phone because I won't take a client without at least a 15-minute call. I need to know what you're looking for. What type of vacation? What do you absolutely have to have? What do you never want to have? What's your budget? Because I can't put something together that fits what you're looking for unless I understand that. So get on a call. I would join this live session. I would tell the trainer, hey, I've got this client. I'm thinking of looking at these different vendors. What do you think? That trainer would get on each vendor that she thinks or he thinks is a good fit for what my client needs, would walk me through how to do the searches, would put together the best deal and would say, here it is. I would create a quote. I would learn how to actually put together packages by a trainer that would live walk through all of this with me. So you're never alone. Now, let's say you do work full time and you've got kids and you're extremely busy and everything settles down at like 10 p.m. at night. Well, first of all, we do have training Pacific time zone. So at 10 o'clock, you can probably still find live training. But if it's a time where there is no live training, guess what? There are videos. We have so many videos. You could come to me and say, hey, I need to learn how to do ABC. I would then direct you to videos you could watch. The other part of all of this is supplier training. So I hope you're getting a feel that you can make real money. You can do it very easily as long as you're consistent and want to put in the work, and we will give you all the support and all the training you need. Yes, if that's exciting to you. Yes, if you're interested in a workshop, put it in the chat. And if you have questions and you're still not sure, put that in the chat. I am here to answer all of your questions. Suppliers, they do online training. They do virtual webinars and they do in-person webinars. So once you get through a training course, through, for example, Norwegian, Princess, Sandals, all of these resorts, right? You get free cruises, heavily discounted stays, just all these amazing perks, add-on perks that you don't pay for. It is so fantastic because as a travel agent, they all want you to have VIP treatment because they want you to sell their resort or their cruise ship or whatever it is to your clients. And the better experience you have and the more you understand it, the better you can actually educate others, right? So we have all of this training online that you can go to. My favorite part is the in-person training. So in person, these suppliers will do training. I went to the Ritz in Atlanta. So again, I'm in Atlanta. I've been here about 22 years, originally from California. Put in the chat where you're from. I love to know where my guests are from, so please put it in the chat. But who does not want to go to the Ritz for an entire day, get wined and dined, get educated and network, and win prizes? Yes, crazy prizes. We'll get to that. So as a travel agent, you get invited to all of these in-person educational webinars, showcases, what have you. I go to the Ritz. They give me a table number. I go sit at my table. It's a small table. There must have been at least 40 vendors from North Africa and South Africa. And what the vendors did is they went from table to table for like 5 minutes. And they gave us high-level information. They gave us their contact information. You know what? If you want to go to North or South Africa, I'm your gal, because not only have I been to Kenya and Tanzania, and not only did I fall in love with travel from that specific trip, but I have so many resources and I've been so educated on it that I can really book something good for you. But these vendors and suppliers, they go around, they educate you. At the end of this event, after you've eaten and you've drank your wine or had your sodas and you've met a lot of great people and you've learned so much, they then pick business cards out of a bowl. They must have given away at least, I'd say 40, if not close to 40 prizes. Let me tell you, these prizes, some of them were like 5-day safaris or 5 nights at a 5-star resort. I mean, just crazy gifts. So as a travel agent, you find great deals, you help people, you've got all the support and all the training, you get free and discounted trips yourself through the suppliers, you're building the money and putting it aside through all this commission you're making, and you win prizes. I did an in-person at Top Golf. Again, who doesn't want to go to Top Golf? It was much smaller, it wasn't a ballroom. They must have had at least 20 prizes. Let me tell you, I have not won one yet, but I'm going to an in-person event on Wednesday. Might come home as a winner. These are just little perks. You know, if you still have questions about being a travel agent, put it in the chat. If you're still not sure, put it in the chat. Welcome, Beth. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Everyone that's joining, click on the red button, follow me. I post at least twice a day. I put all these travel tips out there. I put how to become a travel agent out there. Please follow me, press on the screen and send it out to your top 20. The more you chat with me, the more fun this room becomes and the better it is. So please, questions, put them in the chat. Or just say hello. Hey there, friend. That's enough. All right, what else? So far, I have not had questions. Being a travel agent, fantastic for stay-home moms. I've talked about that quite a bit. It's great for retirees. You know, some people retire and they feel so lost because they're not ready to retire. And I feel like being 50 or 60 is still so young compared to how it was back in the day. You still have so many years to live and you still need to find your passion and do something fun. A lot of times couples do this. So couples that have full-time jobs, they come together because they want to travel the world more and they need a little extra income. Maybe they've got kids and they need to put, college education money aside, whatever it is. They work together on this. There is absolutely zero cap. You get to 6 figures and they do not say, stop, you're done. They say, keep going. In fact, there are travel agents under Archer that make more money than the executives do. Yes, more money. Once you get consistent with this and you're up and running and you're trained, you pick your niche, you start going to, different events and being a sponsor. Like there's just so many ways to do it. But once you get up and running, this is a legit real income that you can make. So if you're interested, welcome in. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Encourage couples to join. Come on in. So couples can do this. Travelers. I'm a big time traveler. I'm also not retired, so I do need to make money. But I have booked 4 vacations in the 8 months I've been doing this, 4 vacations for the price that I would have paid for 1.5. The running joke is I'm going to spend all my money on traveling because I love doing it and it's so hard to say no. Another thing as a travel agent I do, it just reminded me, is when I book these cruisers, I keep checking the price before the cruise starts. If the price drops, I call the travel agent line for that cruise ship and I get them a credit or I get them an upgraded room. So I had 4 couples that I booked, so 4 rooms at an Alaska cruise on Norwegian, and 2 of them paid, they booked it earlier and the price dropped for them $500. It was $250 a person. I got them a $500 credit that now they can use that for up to the next 2 years. And I'm already looking at a Panama Canal 16-day cruise where they're first of all, I'm going to find them a phenomenal deal. Then they're going to get $500 off that phenomenal deal. But that's what I do. It came to mind because I'm going on a Norwegian cruise at the end of April with my mom. So excited to spend time with her. I know I'm going to get treated like a VIP because I'm a travel agent. I already am getting a bottle of Prosecco. I'm getting chocolate covered strawberries. I'm getting laundry service. I'm just getting so much stuff. It's crazy. But I just this weekend called Norwegian through the travel agent number and the price has dropped. It's dropped $189 a person. So I could either get a credit for my mom and a credit for me, or I can get upgraded. Well, my mom is 86 and she spends half her time in India and half her time in California. And I don't know if she's going to use $189 or do another cruise in the next 2 years. So I know I'm going to, but I don't want hers to go to waste. So I went ahead and got an upgrade. I went from a balcony room to a club balcony. I get a bottle of bubbly, I get laundry service. I'm going to get so much stuff. I get midship. I'm getting 15th floor. I mean, all of this because I'm a travel agent and I know the ins and outs on how to get you the best deals. And even once I get you the best deals, I make sure it's the best deal before you leave. So questions, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. I don't know if you're all dealing with this winter weather. I'm here in Atlanta. I've seen a couple names. I know a few of you are here in Atlanta with me. It has been a crazy 2 days, but the good news is the sun is out. The ice is probably melting. My daughter, who's 18, is home today. Our schools are closed. I don't know if they're going to be open tomorrow or not. I know all the kids are praying that the sun goes away so the ice doesn't melt, but the sun's out, and I think it may actually be a normal day tomorrow. Our internet's out though, so thank goodness for hotspot. Again, being a travel agent, even in the winter weather, I still worked all weekend. There were people that couldn't get to work, so they didn't work. I got paid, I made commission, I worked. I'm going to Portugal. I'm going to work from there's a 5-hour time difference in my benefit. I'm going to work early mornings. I can work in the evenings when I'm relaxing after I've traveled the beautiful country. I'm my own boss, so I get to do it whenever, wherever, however I want. And I'm so questions. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes. I just want to make sure if there are any questions. I appreciate all of you that have sent me hearts, joined my fan club, followed me, sent this out, just done all the right things. I really appreciate you. If you have joined or followed my page, I will typically put on there when I'm going to go live. I do 2 sessions. I do one on being a travel agent, getting people to see how much fun this world is, and to come to a free workshop to learn more about it. I really want to spread the news. There can never be enough travel agents, and it is such a great space to be in. Whether you're a stay-home mom, you need a little extra cash, you hate your job and you want to get out of it, this is a great way to start moving out of that job, right? So I do one session on what I did today, and I do another session on travel tips. I've been to every continent but one. I have traveled to over 45 countries. I have so many tips around traveling. I love to travel. I have so many stories. So if you're interested in just listening about travel and learning, that's another session to come to. If there are no questions, I'm probably going to wrap up. I have so enjoyed my time with you. I hope that I've educated you on something. Even if you don't want to be a travel agent, hopefully you've learned how you can use a travel agent without spending more money, and some little tips on saving money. That's what I hope to do. If you are interested in doing what I do and making some real cash, DM me. Make sure you send me your information. I will send you a link to a free workshop. You will learn everything that we talked about today. And if you have more questions, I am here. I'm here to answer them. I hope you all have a beautiful Monday, and I hope you join me at my next live. Until next time, enjoy your day. And thanks again for joining. Appreciate y'all.